The CMAA really was the voice of one crying out in the wilderness for many years. And I think of people like Monsignor Schuler, Father Scaris, Father March, Dr. Solomonovich, all of these people. And they held the torch and they got through the tough times. And now it looks to me like there's a rebirth going on, and it's time for us to take our turn to pass the torch on to others and to begin to spread this all throughout the land. And I think it's beautiful.
Ultimately, it was founded in 1874 by Germans, Sicilians, who were working to establish the same kind of music that they had in Germany, here, particularly in the Midwest, and I think centered in Milwaukee at the beginning. And it has had its changes over the years since the Second Vatican Council. There was an amalgamation with yet another church music organization that formed the Church Music Association of America. So this specific organization is the amalgamation of two that was made after the council.
I want to fill in the gaps in my musical education, and I think CMAA has been the best group I've seen so far to help me be prepared as a music director at a Catholic parish.
The popes for centuries, as you know, have written about the place of Gregorian chant in the Mass, and the Second Vatican Council reaffirmed the pride of place of Gregorian chant at Mass. You're right, people are surprised to find that out, but in fact it has never changed. Gregorian chant is the music of the Roman Rite, and always has been.
How's the Colloquium gone so far for you?
It's wonderful. The explosion of people who've attended this year and the quality of the singing, it's just been magnificent and an uplift. I mean, coming to this for 15 years, to see the transformation, it's wonderful.
The music is really, really difficult. It's worth every second that we put into it. We've got a great choral director who really paces us through things. We've got great people in charge of chant with Scott Turkington, etc., Dr. Mart. But yeah, so those are the things I'm hearing, that the music is beautiful and I am just working hard but loving it.
The choir is sounding so much better than it has in years before. And I have talked to quite a number of people who are quite skilled musicians. So I think the level is higher. I'm sure there are many beginners also. But the chant group that I have, the women have wonderful voices and many of them know singing chant fairly well.
People are looking for something more serious in church, and the word is getting around that Gregorian chant was not suppressed at the Second Vatican Council. And, of course, Benedict XVI, our reigning pope, has mentioned it specifically many times in speech and in writing that Gregorian chant and the classical polyphony should be preserved. And so we're spreading the word. People are getting the word that, in fact, this is the kind of music that we ought to be doing at Mass.
Most of the music we sing at this colloquium is Gregorian chant and polyphony. Is there enough of that music to inspire continued interest, do you think?
Here at this colloquium?
Yes, or in
Oh, well, of course. And I just think that word has to get out. I think that this is an experience that helps people to not only sing it, but to experience where it belongs in the liturgy, and then they can take it home enthusiastically and begin to spread that beauty wherever they go, which is so necessary. Too many people think Gregorian chant is slow and draggy and dead and doesn't have life. When they hear it here the way it's supposed to be sung, that is completely blown out of the water.
Gregorian chant, I think, best articulates the scriptures. I think it best illuminates the scriptures. And polyphony, I think, is just the music of the angels. I think it's just glorious the way that it's structured.
The mission is to bring the sacred back to the liturgy and to bring the level of sacred music up substantially by going back to our tradition of sacred music. You see, in the intervening years since the council, we've lost the notion of sacred music. We have music that is essentially either theatrical or popular music in the churches now, and it doesn't convey the same sacred message that really sacred music does, which is principally chant and polyphony, and that's what we're doing this week.
Our goal is to learn to sing the right notes at the right time, and after we've achieved that, then we have to understand the words, what they mean, how they're pronounced, the musical line, the musical phrase, how it's achieved, and then we assemble it all. We present it at Mass, and voila. It's wonderful. But we have to be practical in the beginning. solfege and the understanding of the nuts and bolts of Gregorian chant is very important.
Someone might say, well, it probably sounds great in this wonderful basilica, in this beautiful church with such a lovely space, but what about a regular parish?
Well, of course, the whole acoustics of this place are magnificent. You can't get better. And you have to judge music for the space in which you're going to sing it. And so you have to have better acoustics. And I would just recommend on a practical note, rip out every piece of rug and acoustical tile you can find and put something in that reverberates.
We've had a ton of fun. I see, it was interesting, you asked people how they found out about the Colloquium, and quite a few found out about it online. So that really brings a neat mix to this group. I thought there were several people that I've seen in years previous, and more than several, maybe 100 or so new people who are new to me all across the country. I was happy to see lots of Californians, people from all across the country, people from doing all stages of music in parishes.
We have an amazing number of people who have some experience with the chant. I would say most. In my class of about 40 men in the chant class, 12 of them are conductors of their own Gregorian chant scholas, which is really wonderful. And I would say between 90 and 95% of the other men sing in Gregorian chant scholas. So it's wonderful.
Can you say something about the calling of a singer?
It's a vocation, and it's not just a performance, it's not just a job. A singer is someone who also has a vocation to serve God at the altar in this integral part of the liturgy, which is music. And so it means prayer, it means a spirituality, it means living the faith and making that music part of their very faith and spirituality.
This is where this music should be, in the liturgy, in the church, in that beautiful setting. I mean, it was just, all the elements were there. It was beautiful.
Attendees this week, what are people been saying?
Some of them have been really excited about it, and they have said, this is what I've been waiting for.
Do you think some changes are taking place? Do you think it indicates something about which we should be optimistic?
Oh, definitely. There's great hope in the future. I think Pope Benedict has set the tone, and I think people are catching the fire all across the world.